Oh.
You know what I mean?
I certainly don't know her middle name. Oh, they really like us. Oh no! It's all right. It's all right. Wow, emotional journey.
Everything okay there?
I had a series of realizations. Exactly. That's where we ended. You know, it's great new music and all, but it gets in the way. We're just supposed to record this entire podcast with this shit in the background.
Yeah, I mean, we could.
I don't want to. I don't want to. Oh yeah,
you could do like
dude,
that.
That was yeah. Good fade. When I started doing the Morrison podcast, the Batman's in Quarantine, I have been watching a lot of video football podcasts that were like one person narrating some very specific football statistics, and throughout the whole back of it, there was very subdued down-tempo electronic music playing, and hearing that was what then convinced me to do the Morrison thing, because I was like, oh, I could do it quick. It could be like 10 minutes, and I could have like small little music in the background. So for the first couple episodes, it's me alone with doing just that thing, testing a bunch of music in the background, subdued. Doesn't work for a comic book podcast, which is what this is. The Comics Place presents Perfectly Acceptable Podcast, brought to you by two fancy gentlemen, wherein said two fancy gentlemen gather in a shared sacred digital space to talk about the week's comics. And Django, the emotional roller coaster I was on as we started this was getting ready to burn the sacrificial incense and do it on camera and share it, and then realizing that I don't have a lighter.
Well,
so I can't do it. The bit is dead.
Yeah, the bit is delayed. The bit is delayed.
Can you imagine if I just run out and you had to vamp alone?
God, while I'm trying to remember who we tagged, because I forgot my list of taggable people.
I'll tell you one of them that I tried to see in Chicago, because we've been in Chicago since we did one of these, was Arsenic Lullaby, but the times I went by his booth, I couldn't find him.
No, I found him. He babysat my jacket.
Nice.
Yeah.
You have an aura. This is a comic podcast. We usually start with an email from one of our dearest and most sacred allies, William Elmer. Here he is.
Hello and happy episode number 422. My friends, happy Easter. He is risen.
Oh, he's risen.
Of course, I mean the Easter Bunny. I love a good blasphemous joke.
Oh.
On that note, I'm curious, what are some of your guys' favorite blasphemous comics that are just a lot of fun that everyone should check out? Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome. And P.S. Happy birthday, Ryan Russell.
Yeah.
You're a real one, and I love you.
Oh, Ryan Russell is a real one, and I think we can all agree that we love him, and happy birthday to him. Django, you would agree?
I would agree. I'll allow it. The motion is carried forward.
I had a really fun time last night in Seattle at a science fiction and fantasy nerdy convention, but one of the best things to do in that convention is just wander around and see what you stumble into, and we found ourselves stumbling into a room of stand-up comedians doing stand-up comedia, and one of them told a very good blasphemous joke. They were talking about calling their grandmother every week at the same time, for years, and the grandmother ends every conversation by saying, I just want Jesus Christ to take me today, because it was actually a great grandma. She's 100 years old. And then the comedian said, and I was like, Grandma, he's a man. They don't like to be nailed down. And I was like, that is really good and sacrilegious, and I'm here for it. And so that's, in response to Will's question, my most recent answer for that.
That's pretty good. I mean, it's obviously it's Preacher.
Yeah, that's the best.
Like,
filthy.
Yeah, but it's also like smart commentary on religion.
Oh, and it's got heart through it for sure. Yeah. But
Garth Ennis is really good at that.
And the Desaad.
Yep. Yeah. The Marquis.
Yeah. There's
Marquis Desaad.
Really, that's what is hard to have, I think, Vertigo pull off in the year of our Lord 2026 is like
Mhm.
how borderline not okay a lot of those Vertigo of the 80s 90s things seemed, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a hard thing to replicate.
Yeah, and just, there's so many more outlets for that kind of stuff now.
And at the same time, like The Office, a lot of actors have been like, you couldn't do that show today as
Yeah.
well. So like, yeah, scaling times,
Yeah.
but good. Second Coming is also another one that's like
yeah.
inherently kind of sacrilegious, and it's Mark Russell, who we love.
Mhm.
Jesus and Superman living together. That's pretty
I
good.
mean, you could even make an argument for the Flintstones,
That is
right? Like
such
they
comic.
they confront religion pretty hardcore on that in that comic.
Yeah, does Grant Morrison ever confront religion?
I
Oh,
mean,
there's
I
that
would
issue of Green Lantern where he like meets God, and
uh-huh.
in the recent series that was like pretty good, pretty
The
blast.
Invisibles, like the Invisibles is not directly related to Christianity or anything the whole time through, but it's got some stuff.
Yeah, but I think Preacher is the definitive one that I first thought of as well, which is just like
Yeah.
the best.
Oh, Craig
Ooh.
Mueller in the chat says Punk Rock Jesus.
I love that and didn't think about it, but you're right. Sean Gordon Murphy's written and drawn Punk Rock Jesus, which was coming out in issues right around, or like I started working at the shop.
Yeah.
And so that was very cool. I remember selling a lot of that book to people, like black and white. Really interesting at the time. But yeah, that's, Jesus' genetics cloned in the far future. Makes punk rock band. Great reference,
rock.
Craig Mumi Bear. And rock on.
Let's rock.
Let's rock is what we all say when we get there. So, blasphemy aside, I do think that we can all agree that it is Sunday, April 5th, and he is risen. That's what I wanted to say when I got on, and I forgot. So, thank you, William Elmer, for once again rising with us to the challenge of a weekly comic book podcast. Django, it was kind of a small week. What do you think about that?
It was a small week. It gave me time to catch up on some stuff that I hadn't read the previous week. But I think, I mean, my favorite thing from this week was, I think, I'm guessing you'll agree, was Bizarro number 1. I think it's the most.
I think there's a case to be made for a different book being my favorite, but this one's close.
And I think this one's got the most meat on the talk bone, if you know what I mean.
It does, but I'm very excited to tell you that I think Mad About DC was my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Which
you're right. You're right.
Like, and I'm surprised that your gut wasn't already busting to talk about that. But Bizarro, Kevin Smith and Nick Patera. Kevin,
that's such a boring name. Why does it sound familiar?
It sounds familiar. And Nick Patera, we all know from his work on Manhattan Projects and Leviathan, which didn't finish. Axe Wielder John, one like an elusive figure in the comics industry. I would flip it around if it were readily available, but I have a wonderful framed piece of art that he did that Django got commissioned for me. It's Grant Morrison holding all of Grant Morrison's Frank Quitely created characters, and it's beautiful and weird because Nick Patera's art is weird, and he was on this podcast hundreds of episodes ago.
Yeah.
Django surprised me at the time of giving me that gift with surprised me that Nick Patera was on the podcast. So well played. That goes down in the annals. That's an anal specific joke.
It's an anal specific joke.
Sorry. So Bizarro. Don't know anything about this K. Smith guy. Bizarro's stories can go one of a couple ways, and a couple of those ways are very difficult and not fun to read because they're Bizarro and they're like writing the text in a way that is like actually an inversion of everything. And then other times it's, like this, or like when Jason Aaron did it in that recent Bizarro story in Action Comics, I guess a number of years ago, where it was actually a pretty fun Bizarro.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like that this fell into a working category of it, but I'm going to be honest. This, like, even though jokes up, Kevin Smith, we love him, Clerks guy, wrote this, the art is the story in my mind.
Yeah, so Kevin wrote this along with Eric Carrasco.
Oh,
So it's Eric Carrasco and Kevin Smith wrote it, and then Nick drew
oh,
it.
you're
But
right.
yeah, the art is fabulous here, and I'm never really a huge fan of Bizarro. Like, it's got to be done just right for me to really dig the Bizarro character. And one thing I appreciated about this is that most of this issue is just like Jimmy Olsen and forgot his name.
Perry
Great Caesar
White.
Ghost, Perry White himself, having a sort of a buddy adventure. And then like the cast of the Daily Planet hanging out with them. And just like the setup of the peril was that one of Toy Maker's toys, like a tin soldier the size of a building, stumbled into the Daily Planet. And I just love how goofy it is that it's just standing there with its blade in there, and like, they're still in the office hanging out, and the blade's
Yeah.
coming through the window.
And like they're having a meal or a meeting at a desk where like the front of the desk is fractured at the tip point of the spear. Like,
Yeah, lots of good details in here.
yeah, I mean, on the topic of details, like when he's going out through this dimensional hole with number 2 near the middle of the book, like the Einstein looking fella, his suit is so detailed in the most Frank Quitely of way. And I don't really know how to describe that quality of detail, but it's like a tiny line. It's a little bit like Steve McNiven, but wigglier. Just some of my favorite stuff. Nick Patera would be the first to tell you that Frank Quitely is his favorite artist. But
it's like he draws every hair.
Yeah, exactly that, and skin wrinkle. And you had a funny story about Chris Burnham, who I put into the same category as Nick Patera, but somebody making fun of him for still compulsively drawing the weird little like lip thing that he does there.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And Patera has that stuff in spades. Like, why is everybody's head like 1.5 heads wide?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Just what he do.
It's just so gorgeous.
Yeah.
And you really saying Jorge or Eric Carrasco, that makes sense, because I would say this didn't feel like the Kevin Smith of like Batman the Widening Gyre, where he's kind of like laughing at how cute he is while doing these things.
Right.
And I can't think of his most recent like comic books outside of that, but this felt like a really solid balance. So I could see him like scripting and plotting with somebody, and somebody else doing the actual fine scripting there. So
he's been doing the quick stops, right? Isn't he writing those?
Sometimes, yeah. And he did that Archie, Jay and Silent Bob.
Oh yeah, that's really funny.
Yeah, he's been doing some stuff. Yeah, he might be writing that quick stops or with another person. But yeah, I can't think of a prettier book this week, although there's some cases to be made for Mad, because good Lord, folks.
Mad was really good.
Mad was really good. Can't be said enough that the cover, if you're listening to this on our live video feed and hanging out with us on the live video feed, you can see that Bizarro is standing on the edge of his cube world with a forced perspective, looking down the cube because he's on the edge. It is really good.
If I had to boil this whole book down to one panel, it would be on the second to last page, Bizarro's messed up toes hanging over the edge of the square earth. It's just like, I just love that drawing.
Yeah.
It's so weird from like every perspective.
Yeah. Gosh, let's see how hard it is to get Nick Patera art from this issue.
I'll bet.
Come on this journey with us, friends.
I don't think this is going to be like the time that we started looking for Martin Morazzo's art and discovered that it was actually affordable and available for a year.
Dutch John. Oh, wow. He's got Leviathan pages on here. I wish that book had finished.
Yeah. No, it was a good book.
What an incredibly weird artist, and just singularly unique vision in comics art. I really liked this. I'm very grateful we got it.
Yeah. I liked it quite a bit. I'm gonna give it a score.
Yeah, what is it?
I'm gonna give it a 9.
Okay. I think I'm gonna give it
liked it.
I think I'm gonna give it a 9 also. Yeah, it's really good. Nizzaro, I don't know if that's a Nick Patera Bizarro very clever pun. I'm going to take it that way. Thank you, Nate McGarry Myers. Romy, who is right? Django, you like to, giggle and laugh like your belly's filled with a bowl full of jelly.
I'm a giggler. They call me the giggler.
Yeah, I would say you are Clausian in nature, especially when your cheeks are rosy like Santa Claus's.
Mm-hmm.
And this week, DC gave us a whole issue that seemed, in my mind, like right up Django's like specific type of humor.
It really was.
It's like every aspect of this was like your nostalgia humor, like what you cut your teeth on. And I loved it. But for anybody who didn't read this, or maybe like me thought it was like reprints, or Mad Comics has been put out by the same company that pumps DC out, so this kind of looked like just another issue of Mad. Holy crap, it's not.
No, this Mad About DC #1, assembled by Chip Zdarsky, but it has, I don't know, 50 different amazing creators included in it. Like, Teeny Howard, Jim Zub, Ramon Perez, Dave Johnson,
Sergio Aragonés.
Yeah, Jerry Dugan, Tony Moore is in here.
Ryan North, Tom Taylor, Bruno Redondo. Like, it's a murderer's row. Is that what they say?
Colleen Coover. Yep. They say it's a murderer's row.
Yeah. The Mark Russell, Steve Lieber one is hilarious.
There's one with Kyle Starks did Dial H for Hero Fails, and it's just like dumb superhero characters, like the man with an infant gun, and it's just like basically Cable with a baby shooting gun. A gun that shoots babies, not a gun that shoots babies. If you like, man, I don't know how to explain this.
I think it's the way that people would have interpreted it that's the least offensive. And then a quick cut over to Absolute Cash-In, where we get the absolute origin for Condiment Man.
Yep.
Did you read that? That was so effing hardcore.
Yeah.
He bathed in sriracha, but it looked like blood. It looked like an issue of Invincible.
Superman with diarrhea had me like,
oh really no, that was a Django, like, hey Jeff, look at this art book I found in a small obscure comic shop. Like, it was just Superman. Yeah.
He like flies into a porta potty and has a handful of moments in there, and then realizes that he's been busted and the bad guys might show up. So he flies away, but he's still in the porta potty. So he's like, the porta potty's flying. That got me good.
I like the part where he's like, oh my God, lactose. And then somebody walks by and he's like, I mean, kryptonite.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah. It's one of the funniest things in quite a while. The one where they like trick Batman into thinking that Robin like turned into water or something. And then like, it's just a joke, but you don't mess with Batman about that. Is that a new Robin? It's
having Aqualad just say, no idea. I have a cloaca.
Yeah, no, he even said cloaca. Like, that's a pretty Django thing.
Yeah.
If you are listening to this podcast at this moment and you feel like you don't understand why saying I have a cloaca would be a Django thing, you've been robbed. You've been robbed. Yeah, so I would love more like this, but it is such a crazy gathering of creators, and it's also actually one of the closer things that's felt like that old Vertigo thing of like, they allowed this. There's a lot of moments in this issue where I was like, they allowed this. Scott Snyder making fun of himself with this Absolute story was really good.
You kind of wonder if, I mean, I think when you're stressed out about anything, especially money or your job, it's hard to not even take risks, but just to zoom out and be lighthearted about yourself. And to have DC so ridiculously successful right now with the Absolute stuff, like they've got the golden touch, so they can do these Vertigo risks, and they can do this Mad About DC risk, and they can, create these things that are not what they would maybe have the guts to do if they had to just keep on, making their monthly nut.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Craig, I'm sorry that that's the moment that you got overheard on this podcast. That's like when Sean was a kid watching wrestling and his parents would walk by. It's always one of the dirtiest moments. Yeah, no, Django, I think that's a really good point. I don't think like Marvel could do this in a way that would be as successful right now, because it's like, you know, you have to be able to be taken down a peg or two to have the kind of skin in the game and the hits, the jokes. Sergio Aragonés, he's alive still?
Oh yeah, he's still
Thank
making Gru,
goodness.
man. There's a Gru book coming out in a couple weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what do you give it?
I mean, it's got to be a 10.
It's got to be a 10, right? It's got to be a 10.
I think if you read this and don't giggle at a handful of things, I think there's something wrong with your insides, much like Superman's insides.
Yeah, I laughed out loud multiple times while reading this.
Yeah,
I wish
there
was so many moments where I was excited to talk to Django about it.
I kept wanting to take pictures of things and send them to you as I was reading it.
Yeah, there were the Cloaca one specifically was like, holy crap, Django wrote a short and didn't tell me.
And I like seeing some of these pages that have things that we know are probably references to industry friends of ours was really funny. You know, like, oh, I know who they're poking fun at here.
And there's a fair amount of contempt from creators, it seems like, towards the worst aspects of the comics industry, which makes sense. But it was interesting to, like, you know, hear them kind of take jabs at some types of con people or some shop folks or whatever.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Or just jabs at fan casting, which was a thing Wizard did so hard when they were around.
Oh, I loved it.
The colorist having 3/4 of his brains reserved for CMYK. That's a Django joke right there.
That's a Django joke for sure. The decades in the making first ever meeting of Harley Quinn and Ambush Bug.
Yeah.
A great Mark Waid little bitch. Just well done, Chip. I just love that, like, he got noticed in high-paying work with sex criminals. He got moved to a writer who was able to do a bunch of fantastic stuff at Marvel and DC. And now he's just like, cool. I'm going to make like ZCNs and Mad About DC and just have fun being a weird, like a little, he's like the silver sprocket of the comic creators. Everything's just a little chaos goblin.
Did you see the video that he did for this? It's like a 5-minute video of him dressed as the Flash and getting arrested for being not the Flash. But the whole time he's talking, he's just like name dropping people who are creators in this comic. And it's very funny.
When did that
come out?
Very
long. Came out, I don't know, last week. I put it up on our Facebook page.
Okay.
So
you don't think it's a reference to Tiger Woods calling President Trump when he got arrested?
I don't think so, because he's not calling people, he's just saying people's names, and then the cops are like, you mean you expect us to believe that Sergio Aragonés and Colleen Coover and Greg Rucka all had a hand in this magazine?
That's pretty good. Chip Zdarsky, you wonderful chaos goblin. 10 out of 10. Well done. You know, something that's better now that Chip Zdarsky is gone, though. Let's take this guy down. Let's talk about Matt Fraction's Batman run. No, that's
as far as I can go.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're gonna get sued, but if it's not because of me just throwing shade at Chip Zdarsky after applauding Chip Zdarsky,
he can take it.
He can take it.
You can tell he can take it.
He'd probably invite it. Matt Fraction's Batman run. So I got into the comic shop on Wednesday morning. I play a small an emotional indoor game every week where I try to read comics that like are responsible to read. Like, you know, this Wednesday I needed to have made sure I read Bizarro going in there, right? That's like a given. But I also kind of want to predict and have read something that Django might read that would be like worthy to talk about. And so I got in there and I had read my books, and first thing he said was like, did you read Batman #8? And I was like, no, I didn't read Batman #8. It's a number 8. It's Wednesday morning. I got these yesterday. Like, what? No, I don't have to. No, I can't just dip in. And I did dip in afterwards and read this story. And there's a variety of reasons I could see you having had that be the first thing that you thought to say, because there's a lot of things that this issue does impressively and well. Finish your thought from 4 days ago.
It's one of the 2 comics I had read by then. The other one was Bizarro.
Dog. Your dog. Okay, so there's
It was good though.
fewer rules to this game that I made up than I knew.
Man, that game that you made up, it's a shame that you told me that game because you're gonna lose it every week from now on.
Chaos Goblin. This is Matt Fraction. Who is doing the art in this issue? That's a question.
Ryan Sook.
Ryan Sook. Have they been doing the art in this?
I don't think so. I think no.
The first page looks like Patrick Gleason art a little bit. This book is called 3 Old Men, One Night in Gotham. And the first couple of pages, or at least pages 1 through 3, are told a little like that Ryan North Fantastic Four issue, where like the pages got horizontal breaks. So it's like 6 pages per panel. Whereas that one, those panels stayed consistent and there was like 3 timelines across all the pages of the book. This one kind of like jumps between several things and then spends several pages at a time in some of the moments, but then transitions to the next moment in a seamless, amazing way with like overlaid dialogue with scenes that like, so the narration and the scenes themselves always transition at different moments. It's very well laced together.
Yeah. I thought that it was a little too clever for my state of mind.
No.
When I was reading it, just like
clever.
I don't love when dialogue goes from one to another and then stays there. You know what I mean? Like I don't want a narrator and action and somebody having a conversation.
I don't want the narrator to be like kind of doing a different scene or removed from that.
Yeah, like
that's where I get
7 panels in. They're like, and that's why sometimes I don't like to do this thing.
Looking at you, Tom King.
Yeah, Tom King does it a lot. There was somebody else I was reading this week, and I was like, I realized that that's something that I don't really. I get confused with it.
I thought what this did well is that it didn't do it for long when it did, and it was mostly like interstitial, like it would kind of bleed between the scenes,
kind of give you the. It's very well crafted.
Yeah.
And maybe a little proud of how well crafted it is.
Yeah, Matt Fraction, you deserve it. But also, Matt, come on, Fraction. We get.
I like the
really.
concept of 3 old men. In Gotham.
I was very excited for that idea, and I do think, especially in the first several pages, it didn't have rules that presented like the Fantastic Four one did.
Right.
So for the first handful of pages, I was a little like, I don't know what this is referring to. Also, does DC do the like asterisks, like check out this thing over in this story?
Oh, I think it depends on the writer.
Because like, did you know that Poison Ivy is the mayor?
Well, she wasn't until this issue.
Is that true?
Yeah, he swears her in on this issue. Like she signs the paperwork and becomes the mayor.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, I bet that there's been some lead up or context for that in the Poison Ivy book. Do you think?
I don't know.
It's weird that would happen right here.
All this stuff with Vandal Savage in Gotham City feels kind of isolated to me. And I granted, I don't read all the DC stuff, but every once in a while you get a passing reference to it. But the meat of that story seems to be something that Chip set up. Did Chip set it up, or did it get set up even before Chip?
I think it was Tynan, like Fear State era.
I don't know. This blows me away.
I'll find out.
I don't love it.
I think that we've looked this up before, actually.
I think you're right. Yeah. I don't really like him as a mainstay in the Batman books.
I am totally with you, which is why I liked this story being a pretty intelligent way of kind of trying to figure out how to undo it. It seemed like, he talks to Alan Scott, one of the first people to fight Vandal Savage and do away with him, and they have a heady conversation discussing how to get rid of him.
And I like how far ahead Savage is planning, because he's been around and he knows he'll be around for so long. He can zoom out and do planning. But I don't know that I usually love politics in Batman. Like local politics in Batman is weird to me.
Yeah, it's already got enough of the gang family politics, and I keep those loosely in my head, like Falcones and Maronis and things. most of the Jeff Loeb verses, but like, yeah, I don't want more than that. And yeah, so I'm excited for this to hopefully stop, but it looks like he became the commissioner in 2024. So that I think that
must have been
Chip.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I'm excited for it to be done because I agree. It's loosely referenced other places, but it's mostly contained to this. It doesn't seem like it's going to have a payoff for ultimately what it was set up to do.
Yeah.
So we should undo it. And oh my gosh, there were so many good references to Alfred being dead in that DC Matt issue. The one where he's like, "Is Alfred back yet?" "No, stop asking me."
Yeah. Well, that's where Superman was going when he was in the porta potty too. He's trying to get to Alfred's funeral.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think everything I just said makes it sound like I didn't like this issue. And I did like this issue.
Yeah, it's good. Good things are easy to poke.
Yeah. Really, really well done. If I were to change one thing in it, it would be to have those 3 panels read across as well as up and down.
100%.
Because that that might just be something that we've been spoiled with in the last 5 years or so, is creators coming up with multiple ways of reading a story.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, I mean, just the art's awesome. This is the first issue that Jorge Jimenez hasn't done of the new Batman.
Okay.
And it looks gorgeous.
It's stunning. Yeah. And like the images of Batman himself. So Django, we cut our teeth on some Grant Morrison Batman hiding Zur-En-Arrh in the cities.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout this issue, you find graffiti of this like triangle with a circle and an eye in it, especially in these last couple of pages. There's like a truck driving off that it's on.
And it's on a newspaper box too, right?
And I just realized that it's on the, it's the Gotham Eye. It's the newspaper. And they have a quote on the final page, and it says, "We watch the watchers."
Nice.
Weird.
Huh.
Interesting.
I wonder if
that newspaper connection until now, but I was looking through it earlier trying to find what that was.
I wonder if it's supposed to be a real newspaper or like a tabloid rag.
Yeah, or somehow tied into like Vandal Savage being eternal.
Mm-hmm.
And like he could have set that up, and it's throughout the issue. That's crazy. Yeah. They're doing something intentionally there with that.
Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty
well done.
Cool.
We're all still watching The Watchmen and trying to do that as well as they did. I give it an 8.5.
I give it an 8.0.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, good stuff.
Did you read Absolute Superman?
Did I read Absolute Superman? Jeffrey?
Do we?
I read Absolute Superman.
We got an Absolute character showing up in this issue here. We got a new Absoluter in this series issue book. In the form of Noob Salute. We've got Absolute Black Adam, or King Shazam, as it were, in the Noob Salutes here. So that's got to be good. I imagine that we also get Steel in here.
Yeah.
We don't know who he is. So some big stuff in here. Is this our return to the regular artist? It is our return to Rafael Sandoval.
Yeah, and it's good.
It is.
But man, I like that last artist a whole lot.
I agree. That I know that you loved Superman on a farm with a domesticated parasite.
Dude, I don't know why I like Parasite in the last 4 years or whatever.
It's been amazing to watch this come together for you.
Yeah, I like this little pet parasite. A little purple doggy for him to get bit by. What could go wrong?
All of the Absolute books, well, or at least most of them, are like, when people talk about them, you hear about how great they are, and that's true. They are very good. And this one is also really good, just like on its own. What they're doing with Ra's al Ghul in this. So like, he was a bad guy being the Lazarus Man for a long time, and then Superman had like an intervention with him, and he's been in prison, and he's like wants to reform. And here Talia breaks him out, and Lois is there trying to like fight him, and she brings him to a Lazarus pit, and he's like, "No, dude, I'm not gonna. We gotta end these things. I don't want to do it. It can't make me. It's green. It's gooey. I always have diarrhea for days afterwards." Yeah, it's So I like that. I like that Talia is like the worst here. And I also like the idea of if Roz becomes, the evil Lazarus Man again, it will be because he was like forced to, and like kind of loses his mind to become a villain. So yeah, I really like that stuff, and I thought it was just cool and interesting. And then Superman showing up, that was all good. And then we get like Steel, and by the end of the issue, I had kind of forgotten about the couple pages of introduction about Black Adam there. So I was happy when he that's always like a good writing trick, and I think Jason Aaron does it well, like introducing a thing in the first couple pages, and then you kind of forget by the end, but just before then you're like, oh wait, what about the Black Adam stuff? And then it shows up.
Yeah,
really good.
Yeah, I thought it was solid. Like, what is this? 18 issues in, and it's still at the top of my pile every week. Like, that's pretty impressive.
It's impressive, and it shouldn't be because it's Jason Aaron, but he has had a run lately of like just kind of doing nostalgia books and stuff, like Thundar and Turtles, and I think about those, and I kind of forget that he is also doing this very good, solid, regular Superman book that's coming out monthly.
Yeah, I don't read a lot of books this far in.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just don't really do it.
You get farther than I do. And yeah, I think that it's less common for books to get that far.
Totally.
And when they're that far, it can be easy to know if it's for you or not. So on that topic, Django, did you read the issue, the Image comic issue #1, Royals by Derek Kirk Kim and Jacob Perez?
I didn't, but did you want to give a score for Absolute Superman first?
Oh, sorry. No, I'm past it.
Let's go. All right.
No, I'm gonna do. What are you gonna do for Superman?
I'm gonna do a 7.5 for Superman.
I was thinking 7.5 or 8.
Probably better than that, but
yeah, I'm gonna go 8. I'm gonna go 8.
Okay. And then you mentioned.
I'm gonna jump the gun on a segue of a book called Royals.
Royals. Okay. Yeah. Let's segue. Schmegway. Oh,
I prefer gross. Nope. I prefer Lime Scooters.
Lime Scooters. Segway. Lime Scooters.
So Royals by Derek Kirk Kim, Image Comics, Jacob Perez. Django, the reason I brought this home is because it's done by the person who wrote and then did the art for The Last Mermaid. That book that we both read the first issue of, and we're like, oh, that was really good.
I read 3 or 4 issues of it.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah. He didn't do the art in this book, but he wrote it, which is interesting. And I met him at a con just after Last Mermaid, and he's a super sweet guy. And this takes place in Seoul, South Korea. And it's about 2 brothers who are going back to Seoul, South Korea. They have a telepathic bond, and they are going to win at poker. And so one of them is the face and like does the poker, and the other watches it on TV where they read the scores and let everyone know. And so they're telepathically communicating. And those brothers are awesome. And it's a very kind of well-rounded dynamic. One's kind of a shitbird who doesn't realize, kind of how much the other guy is kind of, a coward. And so there's this dynamic there where it seems like maybe there's going to be a breakup between these brothers, but it's also got some interesting murdery stuff. Some of it feels a tiny bit clunky, and that's forgivable because at other times the dialogue and characters seem really comfortable and fluid, and like both of these people like go out and have some flirts with people, and both of those interactions feel very natural. There's a priest scene at one point that guy's really natural, so impressive in that regard. And it's just an interestingly unique story. This crazy thing happens at the casino near the end, and maybe a guy who's got a lot of money and power wants to kill somebody, and it's the art is charming. It looks a little bit like the art from Outer Darkness, Afu-chan, mixed with a little something a little cartoonier than that. But yeah, I like it. There's a lot of the dialogue is written in the language of South Korea and then translated, so all the signs and stuff. And I like any time they're kind of making it clear that the language is being spoken other than English. Yeah, it felt good as a little slice of South Korea. So I like it. I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
Nice. That's a big score.
Yeah, 8.5, somewhere there.
8.5 already.
Yeah, it's an 8.5 already. Yeah, locked in. Yeah. I don't know. What do you got for me? Olive
Well,
Daddy.
Oh, I don't like that at all, Jeff.
Well, you can say that, but I know it's not true.
I like that a lot, Jeff.
Did you just post a link to the shop?
Yeah, I didn't think of this before, but we could be posting links in the comments so people can get more
That's
information
smart.
about the issues. So
Yeah, you could know quicker than we do about who is writing and drawing these.
Yeah, the Sacrificers, number 20. I'm still reading this.
That's insane. You are still reading a Rick Remender book 20 issues in that I'm not reading.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's going on in this book?
It's coming to a close. I think the next issue is the last issue. In fact, we're at subs only at this point, so we'll probably put one up when I bring my copy back to the store. But it's really good. It's really good. What the thing that I didn't realize when this series started was the scope of the story. And it started with this little, like probably a 10-year-old pigeon kid who was getting sacrificed to keep the gods alive. Yeah. And at various points throughout the first trade, you think that he's gonna die because it's clearly he's died.
I thought that was gonna happen.
Yeah, and every time that happened, I was like, well, that's either the last issue or this story is a different shape than I thought. But really, it just shows his hardships, and now we're at the point where he's an old man. And this story tells the saga of this pigeon who just goes through all this stuff. And I don't want to spoil it too much, but it's just a much larger story than it kind of telegraphed at the beginning. It's super interesting.
It's like a Martin Scorsese movie.
Yeah, where you think it's going to be an hour and 40 and it's actually 3 hours and 40.
3 hours because it's the story of the rise and fall of someone's entire life.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give it an 8. I think, Remender's pretty hit or miss for me. I read the first 1 or 3 issues of pretty much everything he does, but I rarely keep going. And talking about the Superman made me realize that I'm gonna finish this Rick Remender book, which I think probably was the violence one.
History of Righteous Thirst for Violence.
Righteous Thirst for Vengeance is probably the last one. Actually, that was Arajo also drawing it. So
yeah,
maybe I'm an Arajo fan as much as I'm a Remender fan. Or Remenderman.
Do you love his art? I didn't really remember that he was doing the art in that book either. I think
not
that
a lot of people, so you don't get his
Yeah, that's true. And the emotional roller coaster of not knowing that this kid was dying at the end of every issue, I think was maybe where I think there was one particularly sad ending, or like his buddies, it seemed like got killed. And I was like, huh. So Escape, the Sacrificers, what else is he doing right now?
I don't know that he's doing a ton else right now.
And is Escape over?
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
Okay.
It might be on hiatus. I think we just got to the end of an arc, but I don't think it's over.
Okay, I have an issue to read of that. Those are two probably of the upper end of Rick Remender books that you've read, right? And they're the ones coming out now.
Yeah, I mean, Grommets, but that was a team up.
Oh, that was so good.
Right, but it didn't feel like him.
No.
I might just be full of shit because I think I finished Holy Roller also.
Oh, that was good too.
That was him.
Dang. He's, you could say if every person is growing and changing, he's been on a pretty good streak for you lately. More successful with you than me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, I could also name 4 books that I dropped off of in the last 3 years.
Dog garbage. Yeah, I'm with you.
It just didn't resonate with me. Like Seasons. I like the beginning, but I never dislike his stuff. I just fall off.
Yeah, Seasons I just fell off of. Yeah, and all those are actually quite different books.
Yeah.
Very versatile creator. You said an 8 for it. Nice.
Yes, I said an 8. And
I had somebody come in and they were like, "No, I don't need the comic magazine number 2." I was like, "What?" He's like, "Nah, I didn't really get anything out of the first issue." I was like, "It's free."
Yeah.
And didn't want it. I was like, "Okay, that's cool." This is a little cool slice of the comics industry in your hands, everybody. And then maybe it's not for everyone, but here at the Comics Place HQ, we're giving them away like hotcakes, or at least hotcakes for a little bit.
Hot pancakes.
Hot pancake for the table.
I don't know where to go from there. It's
Comics the Magazine.
Pretty much the peak.
Our friends are putting this out. We like them. We like this. It's all the best parts of like Wizard magazine from when you were a little buddy. But like all these breakdowns of what's being sold and what quantities and numbers, like we're getting closer to having cool information that seems basic about the comics industry than we've had in many, many years. I love seeing their, like rankings of just the top 10 cover artists, interior artists, and writers, and that's by numbers of books being ordered, right?
Yeah.
So that's great.
That's super cool. I like the art school, how to make blood splatters. It's got a lot of content.
Yeah.
Like actual articles. You can read this for the articles is what I'm saying.
Yeah. It's worth it, It's like Rolling Stone, where I'm like, oh, there's a cover article about Tool, I have to get it. And then I'm like, actually, there's a whole bunch of really interesting things in here.
Yeah.
And a Tool article.
Good stuff. I'm glad that the second issue is on par with the first issue. We even got more Chew.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Which is awesome.
I got a question for you about it.
Yeah.
Does this one have an ad of us in it? Yep, there it is. We're cute.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's our Matrix picture.
Did they finally get the hint and add other people into their ads, or are we once again 2 of the 3 people in this book?
The only humans in ads?
Were you watching, and this is the plug for it, anybody listening or watching this on Facebook, some of our friends over at Prana, who put this lovely periodical out, do a Tuesday live show called Comics Industry Insiders. It's worth watching and a lot of fun. Django and I are usually lurking in the background of it, and sometimes on it. Django more often than myself. But I feel like on one of those recently, they had a young whippersnapper of an artist on. And
Nick Patera?
No, I missed that episode. It was probably a month ago. And I thought that they were going to have like an art section in this, or like interview with him. And somebody on that show was talking about kind of trying to shine a light and find young developing artists.
If it was,
I wonder if it got cut or if it's just issue 3.
I mean, if it was a month ago, it's probably issue 3. They have a pretty long lead time on these things.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That would be my guess.
Just a cool thing. Django, over under value of this in 20 years, the first issue. $20, over under.
I think it'll be under $20.
Me too. But still a cool thing, and you should all collect them because it's a cool little snapshot of the industry at the time, and you never know. Wizard magazine, not worth a lot, but they're a lot of fun to go through, and maybe people will be going through this like the cartoonist Kayfabers used to do with their page-by-page Wizard breakdowns, sponsored by Image.
This kind of stuff is like why I enjoy actual issues over trade paperbacks a lot, because it's a snapshot of a time of our industry, and this really does that. So if you shop at our store, come in and get one. We'll give it to you for free.
Yeah.
And we'll give you the next issue for free also. After that, we're going to have to charge, but still half off. So come check it out if you haven't already.
Yeah, if you want to check it out, come get it for free. They're cool. We have 1s and 2s. Pretty good, but small week of comics, Django. That was a lot of DC and an Image. And Marvel's out there somewhere.
Doing their Marvel thing.
They're lurking, but like I don't feel irresponsible about this being the extent of what we've talked about, because I've only got one more in the canon.
Yeah. What do you got in the canon? In the comic book canon?
It's Batman Superman World's Finest. This is the 50th anniversary issue. So you get a gorgeous double-page spread, written by Mark Waid, art by Dan Mora. So he's kind of like, I don't know if you saw, but it was like a month or 2 ago online. Some place gathered a bunch of quotes from a bunch of prominent comic people, like artists, all basically saying that like whatever Dan Mora is doing, I make sure and get it. Like Rob Liefeld, like all these people, just this crazy, like, wow, okay, cool. They've kind of anointed him.
That's awesome.
Which is, it's very cool. This is 2 shorts. One, Batman and Superman are fighting destiny in the nightmare world, Django. So I don't think it screams something you would like. Although
Destiny, like Dr. D?
No, like this guy, he's a nightmare guy. I think that was his name. It's, Mark Waid kind of doing classic Silver Agey villains, but I did think that since they were in like the dream world, nightmare world, it was actually a really cool way to represent it, and they weren't in it long enough for it to really matter. So it was just kind of like morphing, like you'd be looking at Catwoman, and then you would look back at her and she'd be in a different costume, stuff like that. But again, Mark Waid has been shining a light on this era of Batman and Superman that's early in their career. So it seems like the first couple of years of team ups, which is so fun and so good. And you get Batman with this big yellow thing on his chest. And I love it.
That. Yeah.
I love it.
And Mark Waid's the perfect person to be writing that.
Absolutely. And then Dan Mora on art is amazing as well. And the back half of this story is Robin and Jimmy Olsen get into a fight with Barbara Gordon and Supergirl about which is the better team. And so they're like, well, what if we have to each go find the most hardest to find rare item in the world? To like go ask Batman, like, what's my hardest to find thing? And he's like, this. And like hilarious kind of matter of fact Silver Age. He's like, well, it would be this. And then it's like Clark and Batman kind of like commenting on this competition between both of those twins to go find their teams, rather, to go find this rare item.
Nice.
And it's just goofy comic, laugh 'em up, fun. Like Mark Waid, his little bit in the Mad contribution was like that was Gail Simone's. He's always writing Titan stuff, so it's cute when he gets to do that. He has a deference for it, and I love it. And Jimmy Olsen, it's 50 issues in. Mark Waid has been writing this. I don't think that I ever would have known that we would get that, and it's so awesome, and we are lucky to get it. And I hope that it keeps going, because it's like the best DC artist, it feels like, outside of Frank Whiteley, with the most historically like best classic writers. So this is great, and we're lucky to have it.
And this has nine. This has a cover by him, by Frank Whiteley.
Yeah, there was a couple Frank Whiteley covers this week.
Yeah, Bizarro and this one, which sat next to each other on the shelf, and it was a little bit weird.
It was. But I tried to have their A covers then next to those ones. So because I had to give in. I said, let's get these Whiteleys next to each other, and I think everyone thought they were the same book.
Yeah,
such is life. Life, love, and the pursuit of happiness in the industry of comics. Django, well done crossing the finish line on another episode here. I went and saw Bruce Springsteen, and then went to a science fiction convention, and I just got back, and it's a good thing it was a small week.
Yeah. I'm behind from our trip to Chicago, which was super fun, and our I was already behind from something else that was right before that. But coming up soon, in about a month, we got Free Comic Book Day. First Saturday in May, second of May, we'll have Free Comic Book Day. I think books are maybe showing up this week, so we'll be going through those.
Chaz. Sorry, shout out Chaz.
Hey Chaz.
Hey
Chaz in the chat.
Chaz in the chat. On Graves in the chat. Yes, went and saw Bruce Springsteen, the Boss. It was so good. So good. Django, isn't there something else on Free Comic Book Day weekend? And there's some other event that we were like, well, we can't do that.
Is it what?
Gamma?
No, that already happened. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Next year, the Chicago Comic Convention is on Free Comic Book Day.
That's what it was. And
is that what it was?
Yeah, and we were like, well, bummer, we won't be here for that.
Yeah. Weird choice, but also two very different worlds, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
well, thanks for contributing, Will Elmer and Andrew Carlson, for editing the podcast every week and getting it where it needs to go. We're very grateful to both of you, and we love having other voices and contributions in here. Great to see Chaz in the chat. Love Chaz. Roman,
it's a year and a half coming.
Yeah, Roman is celebrating Easter with his mother right now, which is responsible. It says something about Django and I that on Easter Eve we're talking about comics with each other. I like
listen.
I like us.
You can eat ham any day.
You can have ham any day. You can find eggs any day you accidentally leave a dozen in your house.
Any day.
Django. I think it's.
How do we get out of here?
I think it's time to go. I think we got to get out of here. It's Easter Monday tomorrow, which means get where you're going. He is risen. I can't wait to wash my hands. I'm sweaty after work.
Can't wait to wash. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.